time for another Dirt Daily, and today I'm going to show you my brand new project Jeep. This is a 2018 Jeep Wrangler two-door soft top that I recently brought home. And a lot of you may confuse this vehicle with my TJ TubeSock, which is the Jeep that I drove underwater, which honestly, the video is still on YouTube. If you go on YouTube and search underwater Jeep, you can see the Dirt Everyday episode where we drove TubeSock underwater. That Jeep is a 97 TJ. This is the newest version of the Wrangler, the JL. They made the TJ, then they made the JK, and then they made the JL. Which, interesting enough, when they were renaming the JK and designing the JK, they weren't going to call it the JK at all. It was supposed to be the, I believe, TK. And someone was like, Jeeps have always had a J in their number letter, CJ, XJ. So why would they change it to TK instead of having a J, the letter J in it? So, long story short, Jeep Wranglers were called JKs for about 10 years, and then when it was redesigned, it's now called the JL. So I would assume the next one would be called the JM. So JK, JL, JM, but you never know. They could call it whatever they want. Gosh, that was a tangent. But let's get back to the thing at hand, which is this new Jeep project that I brought home. I was not looking for another white two-door Wrangler like my TubeSock. I was looking for something different. And I honestly wasn't really in the market for a JL. I really wanted the JT, the Gladiator, the pickup truck. But some things happened. You guys remember there was a few Dirt Dailies where I helped my buddy Tony from Detroit, which is the guy that came out and actually helped me build TubeSock the very first time. Well, he was working for a company, and they decided to build a four-door JL 4xe, which is kind of the electric hybrid Jeep. And he brought it out to my shop, and we worked on it a little bit together. And while he was here, he had a bunch of parts coming and going, and he was going to build it one way and then build it another way, and the next thing you know, there was like big parts left over, and he was headed back to Detroit with the Jeep. And I was like, what about these parts? And he's like, well, just put them on something. And he left, which was kind of cool because I ended up with some cool stuff. But it also was like, well, now I have to buy a JL or a JT or something because these parts were kind of specific to the new Wrangler. So they sat there for a while, and I thought about like, what else could I use them on? And then one day I was like, I'm just going to put the word out that I'm looking for a JL. And the JL is for both the two-door and the four-door, or the Gladiator, which is actually the JT. But I mean, they're all kind of, these parts that were left here would work on it, like any of them. And I put the word out thinking, maybe I'll find a wrecked one that I can like easily do some fix up to. And the next thing you know, like within days, a friend of mine was like, there's this one up in Washington, and he sent me the link, and I was like, I love it, other than the fact that it's another white two-door. Because like, nothing against a white Jeep. Like, I have a white Chevy, I have a white Ram, I have a white TubeSock Jeep TJ, and now I have a white JL, which I'm going to now call NewbSock instead of TubeSock. NewbSock, like it's a newbie Jeep, it's a new Jeep. This is NewbSock. Welcome to the family. What am I going to do with this thing? Well, first of all, I have to make it run and drive. This Jeep was a theft recovery. You may notice the back window of the soft top completely ripped out. Apparently, this thing was owned by somebody, and someone cut the window out, climbed in, and stole it. And the guy that I bought it from actually bought it from an auction where he got like kind of the info on this Jeep, and he was actually told it was stolen multiple times, like for some reason, because like there's also a big slice in the top of the soft top. So this Jeep has been used and abused and kind of put away wet a couple times. And then this guy that I got it from bought it. He bought it at an auction, and he was extremely impressed by it. He said this thing runs really good, and it was peppy, had a lot of power. It's a V6, so it's the 3.6 liter Pentastar, and it has the new 8-speed, the ZF 8-speed automatic transmission, which I am a big fan of. I think that's a great transmission. So he was driving this thing, and he started noticing a little tick in the engine. And he was like, well, I'm gonna pull that engine out. I'm gonna put a LS engine, a V8 or something else in. So he was looking for a V8 to replace this engine. Like, I don't know why he didn't just drive it, but I guess he was worried that that tick was gonna turn into trouble. So rather than drive it until it blew up, he just was like, I'm just gonna pull the engine apart. So he's looking for another engine to put in here. He finds another 3.6, and he brings it home, and he starts disassembling both engines to try and build one good engine out of it. And then he's like, what am I doing? This is a major headache, and he puts the whole thing up for sale. So I have a 2018 two-door Jeep Wrangler with a whole nother engine sitting right inside here in the passenger seat, because the passenger seat itself is in the back. Basically, he stuffed everything in it and was like, here you go. And I was up in Washington at a buddy's wedding, and I was about to head up there when I kind of worked out the deal to buy this thing. And so I brought my single axle trailer, which I've had a lot of people ask me about this trailer. It's an awesome trailer. It has a single axle dually 10,000 pound Dexter axle, and you can put a Jeep on it roughly this size, sometimes probably up to about 110 inch wheelbase, but not much more than that, and it tows great. So I hooked this trailer up to the Quigley van that I've been driving recently, which I'll have to do a dirt daily on that because it's a pretty cool van. And it only has a little 4-cylinder diesel, but we drove all the way up to Washington with this Jeep on the trailer, or no, with the trailer empty, and then we loaded it up and towed it all the way home. And the little diesel did good. I mean, it's not my 1-ton Ram with the big Cummins, but it did all right. And so we'll talk about that on a future Dirt Daily. So the next step on this Jeep is, can I get it built to go on a big off-roading adventure that I want to do with my buddies? I'm not going to say exactly what that adventure is because I don't want to shoot myself in the foot and not get it done for it, but I am going to try and get this thing running, which is going to probably involve another engine because I don't want to build an engine. I found a buddy that has an engine with really low miles that he took out to probably put an LS or a supercharged big block or something in his Jeep. So he has an engine and a trans with low miles. So I got to go get that, and then I'm going to gut this thing and put that engine and trans in and get it all running and good. And then I'm going to try and build it up into a new version of TubeSock, and that's why I'm calling it NewbSock. So it won't look the same as TubeSock. I really want to change the color, even though white is an easy color to deal with in an off-road vehicle, and it's pretty easy. It keeps it nice and cool. I do want to kind of change the color. I don't think I'm going to paint it. I might look into getting it wrapped and change the design or color scheme that way. Not that I'm not good at painting, but if you've seen the 4Runner that I painted on Dirt Every Day, it's a terrible paint job. And I'm pretty sure Dave doesn't want to show up here and paint this thing for me because he's got his own projects to work on. So the next step, I'm going to drag this thing off the trailer because it doesn't run. I'm going to pull all the stuff out of the interior, like the other engine. I'm going to pull the engine and trans out of this thing, and I'm going to try and put a new engine and trans in it, get it running and driving, get it smogged and all that malarkey that you have to do in the state of California, and then we will dive into making it into a trail machine. So, quick little introduction to TubeSock's new younger brother, NewbSock, and hopefully within the next month or two, the thing's ripping around and we're heading out to the trail. that's it for this Dirt Daily. Thanks for watching. Next time you see this thing, hopefully it'll be in the shop and I can start tearing it apart. See you guys next time. Did you guys see my shirt? Check this out. This is the shirt that Motor Trend used to have from when I drove TubeSock underwater. It's pretty cool. But I also recommend don't drive your Jeep underwater. It's really not that good for it. But go watch the video, Underwater Jeep. You can find it on YouTube. See you next time.